So I've got this new friend who's following me who is had some bad experience with AA meetings, and I get it. I get it. So this is the deal. You cannot give up on AA meetings. There's a million AA meetings. So there's going to be a bad AA meeting. It's just like when you go to, the movies. If you see a bad movie, you don't quit going to movies, do you? No. You just go to different movies, right? That's the answer here. There is an answer in Alcoholics Anonymous. Not all meetings are the same. I go to a very unusual meeting where we talk about drugs and alcohol. Anybody can identify as a drug addict or an alcoholic because we talk about the disease of alcoholism. I'm going to start doing this from now on, alcoholism. So people understand what's wrong with them. Whether you're a drug addict or an alcoholic, you suffer from alcoholism. That's the mental illness. That's the disease. It's just treated in different ways, okay? So however you treat your alcoholism, that's what we talk about in my meeting, right? So it doesn't matter if you're a drug addict or not. And most drug addicts that start coming to the rooms, they start identifying as alcoholics because they understand they have alcoholism. That's the person with the mind and body of alcoholic. So I think that's mincing words. I said this in a meeting the other day, and this will probably stir up the pot a little bit, but I was reading we read only from the big book, the first 164 pages. And in the big book, it talks about in the beginning, and there is a solution. When they first started AA, and there was 3 people. It was Bill and Bob and the guy in the bed. That picture of the guy in the bed. I think his name was Bob too. He was a lawyer. Anyway, there was 3 of them, and then about a year and a half, there became 7 of them. They got 7 people now sober, right? So it was slow, a year and a half. That takes a while. So then somebody opened up their house, and it was actually... what is her name? She was the heiress, I think, from Goodyear. Anyway, they became interested in the program and how it was helping people, so they opened their home up for meetings. There weren't meetings at that time. And in fact, there was only the Oxford group. The Oxford group had 6 steps, and then Bill and Bob changed it to 12 steps, right? And a little less religious. The Oxford group was very religious. So they opened up their house to alcoholics, and they opened it up to anyone suffering from alcoholism, meaning even the wives. That's how Al-Anon got started. The wives started coming because their husbands wouldn't come. And remember, this is 1935, so that's what we're talking about, men and women like this. But it's still the same. So they opened up their house and they let anybody come. Everybody was welcome. There's stories in the 12 and 12 where the elders were like, they had someone come to their club room, and they were like, oh, we don't know if we should let him in or not, right? Because he was of ill repute. I think he did drugs and alcohol. I think he was a transvestite. And then they ended up, in the reading, it says, they finally looked at each other and said, what would the Father do? Meaning, what would God do? What would Jesus do? Let him in. So they let him in. And in there, they talk, Dr. Bob's Nightmare, he talks about drugs in there. He talks about his use of drugs and alcohol. And so does Bill. So somehow through the ages, I think because of the traditions, every group gets to be autonomous, right? Every group can decide what they're going to do. And I think some groups decided that we're only going to talk about alcohol in here. That's it. We're alcoholics. We're only going to talk about alcohol. And that spread. And somehow people got the idea that you can only talk about alcohol. I don't see anywhere, and I know the big book, anywhere in the first 164 pages it says anything about only talking about alcohol in a meeting. I don't think it does. And I think if it's not in the first 164 pages, it's bullshit. That's what I think. And so I think that you as a group get to decide, AA group, you get to decide if you're going to have a room that only talks about AA or alcohol, and you're going to kick people out that are suffering from other illnesses. First thing, you don't know anything about alcoholism. You still think that the drinking and the drugs are the problem, and you should probably watch some of my videos. you're going to be able to help a lot more people if you do. But, groups got like that. And it pisses people off. You know what I mean? There's nothing worse than needing help and going to a room and having them tell you, you can't share because you're not an alcoholic. Well, I don't know. But in the big book, it says that they opened a place and they made a place where everyone was welcome. So that's the room I go to. Everybody's welcome. On my page, on my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, everything that I do, I will help anybody who's suffering from drugs and alcohol or the disease of alcoholism, which means their loved ones, their family, their employers, society as whole. You know what I mean? Everybody's affected by this freaking disease. I mean, just look around. Look on the street. I mean, this homelessness problem, at least in my town, I'm going to tell you this homelessness problem is, this influx of treatment centers that we've had and all this fraud that was going on. It's not anymore, they say. They've set up rules. But it used to be that they would fly people to treatment, right? And then what if the people got kicked out? If the people got kicked out or the people walked out, they wouldn't pay for their ticket home. So people got stuck out here in California. People got stuck in Florida. Wherever there were these big treatment centers and all this fiasco going on with the insurances, all these people that came to treatment that ended up leaving or getting loaded had no way to get back home. That's why it was illegal that they fly them out. You fly them out, you fly them back, right? Instead, we've got all these people walking around on the streets that are homeless. That has added to the homeless population, as well as the fact that we don't have enough mental health care for people, and so they have to treat their mental health with drugs and alcohol. So don't get me started on that. So I believe that our room should be open for everybody, but each room is autonomous and gets to make their own decisions. So to this guy that is having a hard time with meetings, go to other meetings, right? Go to other meetings. Find a meeting you like. Find a few meetings you like. Go, right? There's no reason to die over a principle. Go and get some help and then open your own meeting. Get a coffee pot and a big book and open a meeting and let everybody in you want, right? Let drug addicts in, heroin addicts in, meth addicts in. You can do whatever you want. But don't die over principle, okay? Alcoholics Anonymous has been around a long time. Assholes have been around a long time, right? So you got to find a meeting that works for you, okay? If not, get an online meeting, get a phone meeting, get sober, get some help, and then start your own meeting, because I guarantee you there are more people in your community just like you that need help, okay? That's my rant for today. Love you. Bye.